So can you see the screen where I have the open processing? Can you see that? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so real quick, because we lost a lot of time. Apologies for that. So you always in P5GS, you have to use these functions. So remember to use those functions. Then you can go to the reference, and the reference link is right here on the handout. Remember, on the handout, when you open the handout, just click on class 2, and it's gonna take you back to the beginning of class 2. So click here on the reference, and you're gonna get the list of all the functions available. And all the functions are just commands that are within the P5GS library, you know, the book for P5. So you don't have to memorize all of this. Anytime you need something, just you go to the reference and you can pick up something. So right now we're gonna look into shapes. And you can see there is an ellipse and there is a circle. So you can look at the reference. So you click here in the ellipse and give you examples. It gives you a description, and then they give you the arguments, like the ingredients that you put into the parentheses. So whatever is inside this parentheses are called arguments. And it's just ingredients that you need, directions that you need about the specification about what you're gonna do. So for example, the ellipse, the first two numbers are X and Y, which is your horizontal and vertical if you are in a, you know, you remember geometry. And then so that's the position within the canvas. So you start 0 is here, and then you go right is gonna be all positive, and then down is gonna be positive. So the 0 is on the top left. And then you have width. So the ellipse is width, and then the height. And if you want a circle, what you have to do is put the width and the height the same number. And then you have other information here that you can play with. So there is another thing that you can play with, which has to do with the stroke. So you can read this and find different ways to do the same thing. You can go to circle. Circle has less ingredients because a circle you only need a radius to define a circle. So you have the X and Y like before, and you just put that diameter, which is twice the radius. So that's how you define a circle. So you can define a circle either with an ellipse or with the circle. And then you can use a rectangle, and the rectangle is the same way. But you can see, like, you can choose to round the edges, and it gets a little fancy. So let's try to put a rectangle right below. And I'm just gonna change this within the canvas for now. So I'm just gonna put 20 and 30 just to have something. And then I'm gonna put a rectangle, and then parentheses, always parentheses, X and Y. So the position, so maybe I want to put 0, so you know where the 0 is. And then I'm gonna put 50, which is 0, 50 down. And then I'm gonna do the width and the height. I'm gonna do 120, and you can do any number, 160. And then semicolon, always semicolon. JavaScript is always semicolon. And you're gonna have to rerun it because you changed the code. So we have to rerun it. And then we get this. And then you can see this is 0, because you're doing horizontal, so that's 0, but then it's gonna go down. So that's 50. So, and you can start moving things away. So maybe I want 50. So it moves a little bit to the right, and so on. So that's basically the shapes. And remember, the first shape, like for example, if I put this 50 and I rerun it, let's do this one, 40. So you see, I put the ellipse behind the rectangle. So the way it is done is the first thing, this is the first command. This is the first thing that happens. Change the background to the color 220, which is like this is grayscale. I like gray. Then I'm gonna draw the ellipse. And then I'm gonna draw the rectangle. So that's why the rectangle is on top of the ellipse. If I want to put the rectangle behind the ellipse, so I need to change the order. Change the order. So now you have the ellipse on top and the rectangle bottom on the back. Okay, all good? Kind of good? If I'm going too fast, let me know. So anybody else? Oh, okay, so you can go on here on the, after this class, you can go to the reference page and you're gonna, you can do all kind of stuff here. So the other thing we want to work on is we work a little bit uh, with colors. So now we can start having colors, and the way you do colors is we're gonna do a stroke and fill. So you have stroke right here. So I just did that fine, and you're gonna have fill, and you're gonna have other stuff. So if you click here fill, there's gonna be a lot of things going on. So you have a different ways to add it and different example. So let's try it on. And remember RGB, red, green, blue. So we have 3 in the recipe. So we can start doing fill. So let's start with fill now and just do any color. I'm gonna put 20. I don't know what this is gonna be, but that's what it makes it fun. Just put some color there. And then I'm gonna do the fill for the ellipse. So I need to put the fill for the ellipse, because if I don't do it, guess what's gonna happen? My ellipse and rectangle are gonna be the same color. So if you want each one to have different colors, then you need to put this fill here, but maybe you want to change the color. So maybe you want 200 instead of 20 and see what color we get. Surprise, we got that color. So that's how you do color for specific shapes. Then we can do strokes. So if I put the stroke right here, and again, you can do grayscale, one color, or you can do, like, for example, I can do 255, and that's gonna be the border for all the shapes. Everything that is underneath, everything underneath is gonna get the same border. So remember, here's the border. So I'm gonna put this 0 so you can see it, what color I use. So you can see the border more. So this is the border. So this is right here is what we call stroke. If you want to change the border for each element, we have to put it also right above the element. So I'm going to put it, and it doesn't matter what goes stroke, fill, stroke, it doesn't matter at that point. So let's put this one, let's do something fun. So I'm just going to put RGB code. So I get some different colors. So now let's gonna put the background 120 so you can see so this is, you can see it very good, but there is a kind of purplish border on this one. So maybe if I'm gonna lower this one, I'm gonna put 20 so you can see maybe the border more. See, you can see kind of I don't know if you can see on your screen, there is a purplish stroke there. I keep getting darker colors, uh, so maybe I need to change this. But you get the idea. You can try it on, and that's how you start adding colors. And then if you get fancy, then you can put interactive things, mouse X and mouse Y, and then you have stuff moving. You have the stuff moving, and then you can change the background and put it on the top, and you're gonna have something moving now like that. But see, when I move it, because the lips, this is stationary, the the this is a really cool effect. So sometimes you get stuff that happens just by luck. So this is the way, this one, I cannot go over the rectangle. So I can only go paint or do the caterpillar effect on the canvas, not on top of it. Because the rectangle, remember, it keeps drawing and drawing and drawing and updating and updating and updating. So I will have to make both of them move. So any questions about that? So I'm just hurrying up here because I'm gonna get to where we do conditionals. And conditionals are where you're gonna choose, you can use, if mouse press, this is gonna happen. If I press, and it could be the mouse, it could be another key. Right now, I'm just gonna do the mouse press. So conditionals are what we use in computer science to give two options. You do this or that. So you either drink milk or juice. You go outside, you stay inside. So it's a binary choice. It's either one or the other, 0, 1, true or false. So that's what is a conditional. So conditional is gonna help us to choose situations. So when you choose situations, you have an event like, if I press the mouse, something is gonna happen. If I don't press the mouse, something is gonna happen. So you have two situations. So let's try. We did that. We did this with processing. So let's do it with uh, P5, and I'm going to put the code on, I'm going to put the code for all of you in in Slack and on the chat. And you can take the code and paste it into your code editor and then try it out. So here I have it, I can put stroke and fill also on the setup function like I did here. And then I'm gonna draw a background. Then I have the first conditional statement. If the mouse is pressed, and true is just comparing two situations. If this happens, so if the mouse is pressed and true, it means like you're comparing that the mouse is pressed, so positive. So you're checking, mouse is pressed, true means check mark, the mouse is pressed, then you're gonna do this. If not, you do nothing. So this is the first if. And so let's see what happened. If I press the mouse, anybody knows what's gonna happen? Anybody knows? Anybody can guess what happened if I press the mouse? Maybe it's gonna happen. I don't know. But anybody draws a rectangle. Yeah, what color? Anybody know what color is gonna be the rectangle? It's gonna be, let's see. So if you press the mouse, there is a rectangle. If I don't press the mouse, nothing happened. So this is the first conditional. This is a simple conditional. It's like when you tell somebody, you either do this or nothing's gonna happen. So that's the first statement. Now we can have a more complex conditional, which is two situations. So you either choose, you have two choice, but the two choices have something happening. So I'm going to show you the text. The next one is if else. So the other one is if else. So I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to put it, no, it didn't copy. There. And okay, so I'm gonna put it here on the Zoom chat and then on Slack. And you guys can copy it and paste it on the on to the code editor. So here we have if, and the same thing. If I press the mouse, if pressing the mouse is correct, is happening, which is true, equal to true. So in JavaScript, equal, when you comparing two things, you use equal, equal. So you're gonna draw a rectangle. Otherwise, you're gonna draw what? If you don't press, if you press the mouse, you get the choice of a rectangle, a fuchsia rectangle. Otherwise, you get, anybody knows? I like how you wrote that. So anybody else? Yeah, so let's run and see if that's what happened. So I get an ellipse, and then if I press the mouse, a rectangle. So this is the state that, because I'm not pressing the mouse, this is the current state, no pressing the mouse. So no pressing the mouse means an ellipse. If I press the mouse, it changes to a rectangle. And you can do this, you can start envisioning how this can become a game. It could be a mouse, it could be a joystick, it could be, keyboards. So you can look at the reference and change it, where you can find how to change it from mouse or not. And you can have different conditions too. You can do if, elif. So you can have a different, more than two choices. So let's see, we can do this one. Let me try another one. And I'm gonna put it here for you, and then now for the Slack people right here. And let's try this one out. So this is a little bit different, and it's with the interaction of the mouse. So I'm gonna run it again. So I get the caterpillar, and then when I press it, it disappears. So this is two, if you wanna erase the canvas. And then the next one, let's see, what is the difference between this one and the next one? I know I'm hurrying you up. So I'm just gonna do it, and then I'm gonna put the code. So this is the other one. So here there was a change. So the current condition is a background, which is here an else. If I press it, then I have to draw. I stop pressing, it disappears. I press it, I draw. I stop pressing. So you start, I hope you can start envisioning some kind of design that will be interesting. It wouldn't be just pressing. There is other features you can start playing with the canvas size or the borders, or things are touching each other. So I'm gonna show you an example. I have here something that I did recently, and I'm gonna show you how I did that. And I don't know why it does this to me all the time. So I just did this one. So this is, I'm not touching anything. So these are, I just want to show you some ideas of what can be drawn. So I didn't do this all by myself. There is sites. There is a site here, right here on reference. You can go where it says examples. So you can click on examples, and then you're gonna see all these different examples and different things that people have done, not me, but other people. And you're gonna see here something called bubbles. And I can just find it. Bubble sort, bubbles, bouncy bubbles. So you're gonna see here under motion, and you're gonna see collisions. So this is where you get into more into design. And you can click here and you're gonna see the code. And I just took the code and I changed it. And I changed it a little bit, as much as I can do. This is a very complex code. This is done by somebody who's done a lot of coding, but it's an interesting idea. So you can take any of this code and change it a little bit. And when you change it a little bit, you start realizing how things work. And maybe it'll inspire you to learn more. This is uh, this is just a recreation of gravity. So they created something here that looks like gravity, and they lowered the gravity, and that's why it's bouncing. So you can see how things start morphing into art because you don't know what's going to happen sometimes and what effects are going to happen, but also you can control it in a bit, but you always be surprised what's going to come up on the screen. So I invite you to look here at the examples and find out, have fun. Important thing, have fun. So now that you have all that information, I think you're all empowered to create more. The only thing I was going to remind you is when writing a design in a program, try to answer the following question. Does the script work correctly and is well styled? Doesn't mean it does what it's supposed to do and other people beside you can understand. That's very important. And also, does the script solve the problem? So if you want something to fly, is it flying? Um, so try to do that. I have some other examples here, some more tutorials, and so you can learn more. Any questions? I know I went too far. Oh, I was going to show you this. So I tried to, this is fun. And this is a beginner of what I was showing you with the bubbles. So you can, this is a good starting point. And I'm going to put it here on the chat room, on Zoom, and here on Slack. And you can copy and paste it. So if you want, you can watch. So right now in this, we have not covered this. This is a variable. So we are in JavaScript, you can declare a variable or create a variable just by writing let. So I'm assigning a value of 0 to a variable x. So that means like x now is something that I can manipulate and it's going to help me move things. So the value of this x is 0. So I'll do it at the beginning and that's it. And then I'm going to change the value, and that's called a counter. So remember how I said the function draw is going to keep repeating itself. So anytime it goes and runs it, the first value is 0. So here x, the value of x is 0, which is fine. Then we run this second code with the line 9, and it's going to be 0 plus 1. So now the x is not 0, it's 1. So then it's going to come back here to the ellipse, and the value of the x is 1. It's not 0 anymore, it's 1. And then we move the value of this x is not 0, it's 1, remember? So now it's 1 plus 1 is 2. So it goes, it runs, and it's 2. And then it adds 1, 3. And then it runs the ellipse as 3, and so on, 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 and forever, 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 forever. So you can create really, you start manipulating things there, and you don't have to use your mouse anymore to move it. And you can do plus 1 times 1, or not times 1 because that's going to give you the same number, but times 10, times 100, and so on. So let's see what happened. So we just have an ellipse. Height is a reference, and it just means, let's see what heights mean. I forgot what heights mean. I don't want to say anything silly. Height. I think it's the height of the canvas. So yeah, so you have the width and the height. and the height is, yeah, the width and the height of the canvas. So it's gonna be 400. So whatever the canvas, since I didn't put it, it's 100, so it's gonna be 50. So, or I can put here, well, let's run it this. Let's run it and see what happened. So you see what happened? Do you all see? I'm gonna run it again because it's very small. Did you guys see it? Yes? Okay, so maybe we can, what can we change? The first thing I see is make the canvas bigger. So let's do create canvas. So I just gonna copy paste this so I don't make any typos since we are not. So I'm gonna rerun this and I'm now changing. So because the height is the height of the canvas, so now my height is not 50, is 400 divided by 2. So now this is, so what is changing here? It's changing the X, is changing anytime it runs, the value of X gets 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the idea. And then the height is always gonna be constant. So it's gonna be half of the height of the canvas. See how clever this, and this is a good example of what a well-written code is. It's very simple, solve the problem, and anybody can understand. So, so this is pretty cool, and I invite you to take this code and change colors, maybe move it up and down, maybe do something fun. You get really great effects when you start adding colors here. It gets really cool.